Nĩ wega mũno nĩ ũndũ wa gũthiĩ na mbere gũikarania na ithuĩ nĩ mwaria na Kamau wa Kang'ethe na mũmbunge wa kũrĩa Gatũndũ North Elijah Kũrũria. Rĩu ningĩ ndĩra twaria na mũmbunge wa kũrĩa kũrĩtagwo Naivasha Jane Kĩhara tũkorwo ũhoro wa ũtongoria wa atumia kana atumia na ũtongoria. Ririkana mbunge-inĩ ya bũrũri kũrĩ na atumia marathurirwo na amwe nĩ gũcoka maracokire gĩtĩ-inĩ kĩu kĩa ũmbunge, na nĩ tũkwĩyũria hihi atumia maigĩirwo kĩ thĩinĩ wa mbunge. Na yeye mũikari wa Naivasha wĩna kanya ga kũria kĩũria kĩothe ũgĩkorwo nakĩo tena ndagĩka nini mũno, koguo tũgũteng'era kidogo na Kenya Bengo nyite mũgeni wakwa ũgeni mheshimiwa Jane Kĩhara kũhana atĩa rũcinĩ?
Nĩ kwega muno.
Nĩ ndakena nĩ gũkuona. Yes.
Nĩ wega nĩ kũnjita. Na ituge ndakĩigua to kũndeng'era ngia. Ranjĩrie njũkĩre tene.
Kwĩragwo ayaciara mwaki ongithagio ũguo no gwĩcunaga. Karibu.
Thank you muno muno nĩ kũnjita na njũke gĩcokeria andũ a Naivasha ngatho muno 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 muno.
Nĩguo.
Nĩ kũhe wĩra rita rĩngĩ. Na njokerie Ngai ngatho tondũ tiga nĩ Ngai agatũma manyende ndingĩrĩ haha.
Na ngagũthurwo ti itherũ.
Gĩthĩnji gũthurwo ti itherũ.
Nĩndĩronire kũringana na ũrĩa marekaga kambĩini rĩ, ndĩronire gũthurwo ti itherũ. Nĩ Ngai kwenda ona mũno ti andũ.
Nĩ Ngai tu tondũ ũngĩthiĩ ũguo ũkĩonaga andũ a Naivasha ũkamona ũkamenya mũndũ ũyũ na ndũmũĩ na nĩ arire raini na agĩgũthura. Ũcio nĩwe Ngai.
Yes.
Na ningĩ ngagĩcokia ngatho nĩ atĩ nĩ maronire arĩa wega rĩngĩ na nĩ ngũmera nĩ tũgũtirithania.
Na Naikuru kwanja wĩ account ya Naikuru anga nĩ special tondũ mwena atumia aingĩ mũno mathurĩtwo ambunge.
Actually Naikuru ithuĩ tũretwo Naikuru girls. Na niĩ am one of the girls.
Naikuru girls.
Tondũ governor witũ nĩ mũtumia, senator witũ nĩ mũtumia, constituency tũrathurirwo ana. Na nĩ tũrĩ na women rep na MCA anana. We are 15.
Ambunge nĩ Girigiri, Naivasha,
Bahati na Njoro.
Na Njoro. Njoro nĩ ekũriganagĩra. Karibu sana once again.
Thank you.
Nĩ njũĩ rĩrarĩ ihinda rĩritũ mũno rĩa kambi, no nĩ rita rĩa gatatũ tũracoka mbunge, koguo maũndũ nĩ ũrĩa makoragwo kũrĩa mbunge.
Nĩ njũĩ ũrĩa maũndũ makoragwo mbunge na no njũĩ ũrĩa makoragwo kũrĩa ground. Tondũ campaign nĩ yendaga kamũbango. Andũ aingĩ meciragia campaign no kũhaica ngari igũrũ na kugĩrĩria na kuga hũ na kuga mũthure. Campaign nĩ yendaga structure na kũbangwo wega. No nginya ũkorwo na very coordinated campaign. Koguo nĩ ngũcokeria andũ akwa ngatho mũno, especially team Jane arĩa tũrekire campaign ĩyo tondũ ndũrarĩ wĩra mũhũthũ. Nĩ ũkũririkana nomination nĩ ndahanĩte ta ngũthigithwo. Na ngĩrwo ndahotana kura ĩmwe. Harĩ haritũ.
Yes.
No ũkora wakĩhũthĩkĩte tondũ ndikĩũĩ kura icio ingĩ ciacokire gũthiĩ tondũ ningĩ ndamatigire na kura makĩria ma 20,000. Rĩu twathiĩ gĩthurano kĩa biũ.
Nĩguo.
Nomination cia kĩama nĩ ikoragwo irĩ tricky tondũ gũtirĩ kĩama gĩkaga nomination na njĩra yagĩrĩire. Ũgĩcia nĩ ũbangĩte kũrĩ nake mũndũ ndarĩ ũndũ ũngĩ areciria, we areciria gũkaiya tondũ nĩ oenda kona kura.
Tondũ nĩamenya tigiti ũyũ wĩna bata mũno.
Nĩgetha kapcha tigiti ũcio rĩu nĩgetha andũ mamũthure. Rĩu koguo ona ĩyo mĩtego no twagĩtegũrire.
Rĩu reke tũke haha rĩu kwanyu gwaku Naikuru rĩ kana kaunti yaku ya Naikuru rĩ kana na Naivasha kĩrĩ party ĩmwe ya Naikuru na nĩ large stakeholder, by the way one of the stakeholder mũnene wa kaunti ya Naikuru Naivasha.
Nĩ Naivasha.
Nginya njiguo ũtonga mũingĩ Naivasha Naikuru yonaga umaga kũrĩa gwaku.
Nĩ onene mũno kwa ũingĩ na resources na andũ. Tondũ even voters ũngĩregwo nĩ Naivasha gĩtĩ gĩa county ndũngĩhĩtũka.
Koguo na Susan nĩ supportirwo mũno gwaku Naivasha. Ona president gwaku Naivasha kwa rĩu kura nyingĩ mũno. Nĩ
ũndũ rĩu twakĩrĩ mũrengo ũcio ũrĩa warĩaga
wa Kenya kwanza.
Kenya kwanza.
Karibu sana. Reke tũkĩrĩ ũhoro wa atumia rĩu na ũtongoria na itemi rĩa atumia thĩinĩ wa ũtongoria. Mũtirĩ mũrakinya atumia arĩa mangĩrwo atĩ nĩ magũkinya 2/3 tiga kuongereirwo kwamũrwo.
Reke njuge nĩ haritũ no tũthiĩte wega. Niĩ nĩ ndarĩ mbunge ya kenda. Mbunge ya kenda twarĩ atumia 18 na 18 rĩ atandatũ marĩ akũnominĩtwo.
Koguo marĩ 12 a gũthurwo.
Koguo marĩ 12. Koguo nĩ ikinya inene. Ya kanana rĩ marĩ 8. Koguo agũthurwo marĩ 2.
Bunge ya kanana.
Bunge ya kanana.
Ino ni yale ya mwaka 1992.
1997.
Mari eritu wa guthuro no maririkani.
Wici yo mwari Beth Mugocio ngidirari kana.
Kana Naomi Shabani.
Naomi Shabani yokire 2002. Koguo ndiari kana ucio ngino. Oguo ni tu. Na riu iyo ya 12 turarikirie. Turari 23. Aguthurwo single constituency.
23. Iyo muthe muri igana guthurwo.
Turi 29.
Koguo murathi kuma 8 kuma bunge ya kanana eri rumwe 29. Koguo ni tuhena progress.
No turathie.
Yes.
In fact it's unfortunate ni twaluzire kigumo na gatundu north gwa kururio cio uma haha ngugu nikuo kware Wanjiko wakire rusu mwana kiari reke njuge riu region itu tondu tutieciragia kuri mutimia agirirwo ni gute
giturwa okay niko mwangeinire he kundu mwangeinire
tabahati ndo tikeinite
tondu kurari na Ngonjiri rukwe na Irene okay riu murenda gwika atia muri tatumia tondu we ni one of the senior metago Ngonjiri metago ranking
ranking member
ranking tondu ranking mega kuria bunge ni 13 ri ni atia murabanga nigetha next time riu gutigakona 29 gukona 38 kana guthi na iguru
reke njuge no kwaria na andu tumere atumia marugama kuringana na ore ithu turututera ithu turacokio ni undu wa kuruta wira koguo atimia marugama no ngerie kwige no thaithi andu metekire kumathura na watumia meyumirie tondu na kwiyumiria atumia ni maremagwo ni kwiyumiria gwiciria ona korwo no turathurirwo tutigira kinyire hihi na mbere irabatarania no ithuĩ ni tutumite andu makinya ikinya inene muno mone ati mutumia no arute wira angithurwo tondu mutimia ni ari gutu kuraihu muno wa guthikiriria employer witagwo Wanjiko na ni ari patient ni ugukiririria uheo mathina maingi mamona atakuhota koguo ri ithuĩ ni tuthomithanagia tariu ni turi kiama gitagwo Kiwopa Kenya Women Parliamentary Association na actually ni caucus twaheirwo ni parliament in other words tukauga ni twacokanira tugacoka tukaheo status ya committee ikuo ni turi kiama ya Kiwopa na tuthiaga across the board tukiuga ni Kenya Kwanza ni Azimio ni gukua ku ithuothe tukanyitana tukagia na kiama kiu twakiumbire 2004 ndio ndari ku tondu twathire Uganda tugikora atumia ni mathuragwo raithi kuu ni undu wa gucokanirira na kumaniriria ya witagwo Uopa na ithuĩ twoka guku tugita itu Kiwopa na tukiambiriria koguo ni to reach out tugereya ukinyira development partners matuteithie hindi ya campaign here and there nigetha tukorwo turi aingi
koguo kwena mwihoko ati ona mwana akairitu hari ari ndaretigira ati no arugame riu
ona tugikinyira
ni muhurite
email ni marona ati riri it is doable ithu ndaigua riu MCA ithuĩ turi na 8 na Ikuru ni kuga ati ona ringi ni tugukorwo turi aingi
nacio ni aguthurwo which is a very good number
ward cia na Ikuru ni 55 koguo inyanya ri cina
koguo no 1/7 koguo no hatigarite hari ona handu haratiga nginya Kenya 1/3
ni hatigaru no thabari yambagia ikinya rimwe nene nitukinyite hari hanene at least ni tuonetie andu ati mutumia no arute wira
tareke tuke gwaku Naivasha tondu wanjira urathurwo ni undu wa kuruta wira ni project iri kuhihi ureciria ringi urarutaga utanarikia kana urenda kuthi na mbere nacio
ni project yakwa ni nyingi mbere nene ni nyendaga kwamba gwiciria uhoro wa ciana na githomo koguo ni njikiriire muno uhoro wa githomo na nie ni kio ndiraigua andu makiuga ati CDF ni guthira CDF ni guthira no riu tutiri na wira tungikiruta ithui tondu mbeca iria cia thirikari cia nonwo ni andu na ikahutio na ikaiguo ni cia CDF ona icio cia account twiragwo tutimenyaga kuria tondu mwana agikorwo ndathiite cukuru ari nyumba ucoka kwira nyina ati ni uraka thoko ya billion nduri undu uramwira tondu mwana oni ambe athii githomo nie ni mundu ni anjiraga ndimurihire kosina ugacoka kona he mwana waga kumurihira 4,000 cia guthoma day secondary school ni aga guthoma nundu wa kuhinyiririka no nginya hote ku balance maundu macio mothe uria one ati no eterere hanini to ni agikinyitie hau tweterere tondu ni kuri na formula irari njuru muno ya NGCDF tondu mbeca icio iraheanagwo ciganaine across the board ati mundu oina wodi 3 na ni ndina wodi 8 tuheagwo mbeca ciganaine na wodi 8 icio tigethaka ni andu mayurite kuo riu koguo ri ni irari na formula njuru muno ni irakoretwo yagia na amendment tukapush muno nigetha andu aria mari na wodi nyingi makongererwo mbeca na amendment iyo ni irahitukite riu tukiamba kuhuranira tondu ni turamenya hena political goodwill. Our president ni atwirite kana in his speech akiaria bunge riri okire ku address nation ni atwirire we ni akoretwo ari mubunge gutari CDF na ni akoretwo ari mubunge kuri CDF kwoguo ni ahote kwira utaukirwo ni ngurani ati uri na CDF no hote kurutira andu wira muno niyo na ni no hote tondu muthuri wakwa ari parliament itari CDF na ni ithuĩ tukitwikira CDF 23
na nona amathina maria andu matira mari teraini hau makienda
school fee mokaga na harambe cia cukuru ni secondary ona primary kuria andu marenda harambe ukona akendia ng'ombe githiji ukona ni endia ng'ombe mbeca icio akaneana ciothe ngionaga igathie uona ni ndambite guthura siasa muno
tarekedi uria kiuria kiritu na hihi na njino kwemerorire what is the permanent solution no horo ye githomo wakoragwa atiriri nduretere ati mubunge no wari kuhe school fees na thukari waga githomo ni gitire marihi what is the permanent solution
ire no economic empowerment gutire kindu kiega ta muthuri agithie cukuru akahingura kibeti akarihira mwana cukuru akaigua ni aruta wira wa muciari kwoguo ri economic empowerment tondu ona ni kuhota ku facilitate githomo giki yatwikire free na ti free keragwo free education not free tondu ni kurarihwo giki ni kurari tari ni ciana nyingi muno irimuci tari ni tungihetwo mbeca tukambiria kuhe ciana tiga ni ciro uyu riu ni tweterere nigetha tugikire CDF comply na constitution
na haya undu cio ngi kogwo githomo ni kimwe kia kira wikirire
githomo na githomo riu to githomo kia ciana guthoma ni infrastructure ni nyambiriirie cukuru nyingi muno njeru ugaka cukuru njeru kambiria
from scratch
tondu ni urona itura ni ringihirie andu ciana ni cia gitari for example na Naivasha town ri irari na secondary school o igiri cia thirikari na primary schools ni more than 10 ukona catchment iciana icio itingeiganira hau koguo tukambiria cukuru itagwo Karai na tugacoka tukahingura secondary tugacoka tukahingura ingi itagwo highway primary tukamihe secondary
kuni viwandani
kuni viwandani
kwa kada nini muno murathurire MC retwo muraya
itagwo Mwangi wa Muraya
hatreke njuke hariri na Naivasha njiguaga nikuo turehaga mbeca hindi ya mathigo na hindi ria turenda guka kiria uhoro wa ugendi naguo hihi ni ukoragwo na undu wigio kuhane mbeca cio tongo cio ugendi
reke njuge Naivasha iri intrigues nyingi muno yes ni kuri ugendi no kuri handu twahatiriirio ithuĩ uhoro wa per diem ya Naivasha ri igakorwo iri thi igakorwo ti ya Naikuru na ti ya Githumo kwoguo ri andu matihotaga guka muno uria tungienda moke in fact ira ndiraragia na investor mukawa we must do something ni undu wa per diem ndu ni andu marafuta mikawa iyo tondu riu
per diem kuri andu a thirikari
ni andu ari othe mokaga ni andu a thirikari nio maheaga mikawa mbeca ni undu wa micemanio riu magiuka matuike matikuheo per diem njega kuuri they would rather mathie Naikuru kana mathie Githumo magatutiga
reke ndiurie per diem ya taru per diem ya Naivasha na Naikuru tiganaga na taki uguo
well I may not know exactly oria njuni atiriri riu mundu athiite Naikuru ri ari na per diem nene gukira Naivasha
na no hamwe no kindu kinini
county
actually the same county
in fact if you to city status
Naivasha na ni ndirarora ngona mikawa ya Naivasha ta na imiega gukira ya Naikuru
exactly tiwo riu
na facility warora kirathi nginya kia mikawa
yo ni uhoro umwe gwambia ku address immediately tondu mundu uria wetagwo Maminista wa tourism
Najib Balala
ni wa Mombasa na nikuga ati per diem ingia nenehire Naivasha ari andu
tiga guthii Mombatha moke Naivasha
no matige guthii Mombatha iyo uguo
o mundu ndi akihuragia na mwena wake
mundu ahuragia na hake
yes
riu tugukihopu rita riri nitukugia na padie mujera
hena kaundu kangitaronaga na nikaragia andu mental health kuria bunge he undu mungikira watho ni ndirikanaga president ucio reherire ni igite ati mental health kana horo wa ugima mwega wa meciria ni ugutuo national kana ikoro national conversation
ucio ni undu wa bata muno ona reke tutige guthio muno mental health twambe twambiririe depression mathina maria mari bururi uyu matumite andu aingi muno masafe depression koguo ni tukubatara kugia na rehabilitation in every constituency kugie na rehab. This is something that no muhaka thirikari riu yambirie gwiciria ona tugiukagiria economy ri tondu koro economy ni njega reke ngwire githiji mathina maya ndungimona tariu ni ndiraigua the very helpless tondu ndirahurirwo thimu ni aciari ona ciana ni ciui thimu yakwa kaigua mwana gikuhurira thimu agakwira ndiri na mbeca na ni nyina ngatindwo na turi na kigeranio ari angi ni kuhuta dunia hutu gutire irio tondu hindi iria kurakiri kwegega ri mundu ni araguraga irio no ndungihota kuhe andu irio ona ukienda arafu riu ukaigua especially andu aria mari constituencies na matauni kuri andu makomboraga nyumba ndwe ruro mundu akomagwo kwa ona akorwo gutire na irio nyumba ni hingi riu ukaigua ukarimenya nduramenya uri ungiteithia mundu koguo kwina thina munene muno mbere nene ni kwamba guthondeka economy na president na deputy wake ni maugite iyo niyo agenda number 1
koguo na kura ndimena depression ni undu wako gakindu muhuko na kuhuta
eni
ina rigi mundu na mwihoko
no na ni athuri matiaragia riu ahota gwiciria atumia nio mena thina muno no ni tondu atumia ni maragia athuri ona matingihota guka gwaku kuhoya kana gukwira
kuhathoni
ndikio ndakwira riu muthuri tocio no nginya agakorwo ari very depressed ona akorwo ndikumira onekane
he andu angi matinda makinyandikira ndumiriri haha andu akuru witwa maela ni gwaku
maera ni gwakwa
kakundu ku gwithina muingi ate wa bara
maera ni kuri thina muno wa bara na tivareto ohoro wayo
bara yo itagwa atia
itagwo ya maera bara ya guthi maera
hindi ciothe kungiokire kaundu hatigakiurikia maera
kongoni maera no ni moye ni tukoretwo tukigeria barabara yo ni yakera na barabara yo ni yahetwo mbeca in fact ciarame no thirikari ira turarikiriirie was very unfriendly to some of us
okay
bara ikaheo mbeca dunia hituka budget koguo mbeca ni cikiunganio ri ni cibataire kumenyeka ira iguthi bara iriku no ri ikaga kukirwo hau tondu njiri kiharandara to the line
ndari wa mwena ucio wi thirikari
ndari mwena ucio mwega
koguo
ri hari nena mbeca no ndire muregani tukiri na andu acia maera ithe tikio marathurie na ni utigugithie kuri andu mari
koguo ni rithondeko ru ni rona ni guthondeko
of course ona president ndialite maera maita maya we mwenyewe agathie maera na akamera kama promise
haya undu ucio ngi ni horo wa ategia thamaki ategia thamaki ri kwenjamba irategaga thamaki cio gekenderia ha karai kana haha uguo tana kayore ikaruta Naivasha iriki ikarehe na ngiwa ni kwanyita na kidogo ati ni tamaragirio ni tamaranyitwo muno
njiguaga mendaga gu structure unfortunately andu aria tungiuga magienda guteithio ni wira ucio ri the hustlers matingihota kugura boat
tigwa ndirauga
na kuheagwo andu a boat koguo ri ucio ni cira tucirite nginya na governor tukarikanira riu no nginya tumenye how we want to do it tondu ona ni kwarehirwo andu a fisheries magituika ni maremwo ni kurangira iria na thamaki ni iraiywo makirehe andu metagwo coast guard andu very bad makoretwo makiuraga ciana na riu ri gutire kindu kingi hia andu gia kuria ku andu aria maikaraga area yo ketuge kihoto karagita na kuria kamere oguo na kuiria ini na kuoguo mugunda wao koragwo ri iria riu
na niho mangiona gia kuria
no riu ri kwendaga kugie na mubango tindi tondu ningi ri kungikiaga mubango ri ona thamaki icio itigukioneka koguo ri ni undu ukubatara guikarirwo thi ubango nigetha andu mateithike youth we teithike makiria the youth na andu aya mategaga thamaki tondu riu ni kwirikanaga mabwe nyenye no mari biashara-ini ya thamaki
wange magacafa haya ni nderwo mundu mutumia ucio ngi wa guthurwa ri Charity Ngilu wa Kitui Central ni Festus wa njira ndarikana haya ndacoka ndikio ngena mwiroreri witu ni anjiraga orua ndimakaga ona tondu tutike menya kila kindu haya ndacoka nderwo PDM ya Naikuru ri ni ngiri 22 na ya Naivasha ni ngiri 18 ni ya top officials anene ya thirikari top officers na waya ngiri ni ngiri 4 Naikuru na ngiri 4 na magana meri Naikuru na uko ni ngiri 3 na magana 5 no na weka mathabu kora kabo aikomra thi wiki imwe haria
ni kama uthi haria ndu ni per night
itaragwo ru per night haya umurika kanjira ni ukenaga tondu andu ngini moy ukoretwo wi sober ni wekene na sobriety ati no ke na debate ciaku kuria bunge iko ci sobriety ni aranjuria wiri tare kaigana ndamure ni ria gatatu uri ngumucokeria ki wiri tare gatatu gukorwo wi bunge
ni ria gatatu nda yakwa ni miraculous ni ndakwira ni uhoro wa Ngai tondu ni ndaikarire miaka 10 na ni ndiracokire
mundu ranjira atiriri jambo sa riu ni wira arahoya ni ngamundu akihoera kaba kumuthikiriria Isaac Mwangi from Naivasha Karereshwa we supported Jane though not recognized. I'm a former personal assistant for 12 years and now I wish to join her office ndugwita ukara Naivasha mundu agenda kawira ga gukorwo eta PA hihi guthiaga atia
wikite atiriri riu ni kenjuge ndirakiandikana tondu ndirakirio na andu na gutire mundu ngubuta tondu ti wega
niguo
tugi atiriri ni njiraga andu rehe CV uyo racaria wira ri niwe wikire uthomete na niwe unungi kwandika hihi ri hau niho unginjira atiriri ngane narandikana
njariria kwina
na nie ni thomete na ni applyite we wambe wike haku ndeithiriria hau
correct
riu hau niho njika no ni njugaga CV ni irehwo obici itikunogia guikara drawer ungeigua handu kauga ndina ciana ihana o ihana
ni ukoragwo na muthenya waku dedicated ire andu a Naivasha
ni ngoragwo na
ni uriku nigetha mundu ucio arehe taru no ngegwa gwatagwo
CV
ndaka ekurehe nigetha atigire
ndako batara kurehe ndikuo githinji hindi ndari MP ya mbere ri tutiari na kindu gitagwo constituency office riu ni turi constituency office neri na manager na mani ndocio ri ona wira ucio ni worutaga muno iyo na kuthikiriria to nie ndikire bunge ni wothikagiriria na akona ati kuri andu kuri kundu kurandikano ucio ni wira wake no nie ni ngoragwo office Mondays every Monday no lately riu ndikoretwo thiete tondu no igua staff matiri marari ni wiro contract to na ndingihota guthi wikara hau ndeika
niguo
tungihota kumanage andu acio na inene case gukirio maundu maingi tureka ma kuvanga thirikari committees riu nona kwina vetting turari bunge uguo riu maundu ni maingi
next week ninge murathi go vet PSs
ni ku vetwo PSs riu ndo wa muthemba ucio
he kamiti ona mbunge-ini
kabite itibangitwo ni hindi iravangwo
na ni kaundu kariku hihi wonete ni urona utiganu wa bunge ya last time that 12 na 13 he kindu wonete utiganu na ngomu tigikarite muno ino ya 13 niki wonete gikoro kino utiganu muno
well no new faces bunge no irienge ego depend ri twakiingira biu ri riu ni ukuona capacity ya the members I think ucia ni bere ni tene muno kukwambia gu compare
niki urera mwikiri wa Naivasha miaka eno 5
mweka mwikari wa Naivasha ndenda kumwira atiriri ni tuguthio uria tuthiaga ithui ni twerirwo mai Naivasha twerirwo mai ni thirikari iyo irathirire na twiragwo ithui mai maitu tondu ni macumbi gucia nuonaga Naivasha andu aingi me magego ma brown ni undu wa mai macumbi ithui ni twiritwo mai kana ni twanerwo ona CS uria urari
hidirari Sicily kana
no PS
irongo nyakera irongo wa mai
irago wa mai ndathiaga gwake ofisi akanjira atiriri proposal yanyu iri yo haha no mbeca twetereire tondu mai ma Naivasha na girigiri matuga magiuma Nyandarua kuri damu itagwo Kinja kuri gitagwo Pesi na Marewa
thank you
riu icio cienjwo ri twambe tugie mai
mathaa makwa nĩ mathira mheshimiwa na nĩ waririkana mũthĩ kwĩna kĩndũ kĩrathiĩ na mbere kũrĩa bunge mũthĩ kwĩna vetting na tondũ speaker nĩ akinya nyambe ngwendera mahinda mega no gũgĩta rĩngĩ tũthi na direct ĩno ĩgiĩ horo wa
no nginya ũnjĩte tondũ nĩ ũrani ndaigua ndagũnya mũno
mathaa nĩ makũnyihĩra
tondũ nĩ ũnjĩtire tene
and apologize
no wega wĩra ũgũkĩrutwo ũrĩa ũhana
nĩguo
thank you very much na ngĩrĩ andũ a Naivasha nĩ njoketie ngatho mũno nĩ kũhe wĩra hĩndĩ ĩngĩ na nĩ tũgũtirithania niĩ ndĩ mũndũ thikagĩrĩria
asante thengi mũno mwĩroreri nĩ ũramenya atĩ mũthenya wa ũmũthĩ nĩ mũthenya wa kerĩ wa gũthũrima andũ arĩa mendekithĩtio maingĩre ndundu-inĩ ya Maminista na mũndũ ũrĩa ũrathũrimwo rita ithaa rĩrĩ nĩ ũrĩa ũrendekithio atuĩke Minister wa Interior Professor Kithure Kindiki reke gũtware mũkomo nginya mbunge-inĩ ya bũrũri kũrĩa committee of appointment ĩrathiĩ na mbere na gũthũrima acio na mũthenya wothe mũthenya wa ũmũthĩ
MP Kilifi North.
Robert Mbui, Kadhiani constituency.
Rehab Mukami, County MP, Nyeri.
My name is Ferdinand Wanyonyi, Member of Parliament, Kwanza, Trans Nzoia County.
George Gitonga Murugara,
MP for North Imenti, Meru County, and a neighbor to Tharaka Nithi.
Shimboko, MP Likoni constituency, County 001.
Nelson Narab Koech, MP Belgut.
Morning, Caleb Amisi, MP Saboti.
Didoraso, MP Saku.
Abdishurie, MP Balambala.
Mary Emasi Otucho, MP Teso South.
Stephen Mule, MP Matungulu.
Maria David, Nakuru Town East.
Naisula Lesuda, MP Samburu West.
Thank you very much, members. We also have the Secretariat led by our clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Sarah Kyoko, the Acting Clerk of the National Assembly, and I have with me the Director, Appropriation, Audit and other select committees, Mrs. Florence Abonyo, and also the Deputy Director, Legal Services, Mr. Michael Karuru, and many other members of staff who are assisting this committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It is not adversarial. We are seeking facts from you. Members will ask questions to establish your suitability to hold the office to which His Excellency the President has nominated you. We have done very well since yesterday, resisted the temptation to have any altercations. We have conducted the proceedings with a lot of decorum. You address the House or the committee through the chair. Questions are also asked through the chair. And we try to limit any direct conversation, engagement, or arguments between the nominee and any member of the committee. The time available to this session is there, 90 minutes. So we encourage concise and precise questions, eliciting concise and precise answers from the nominee. And once we've gone through your documentation process, I'll give you 10 minutes or less, at least no more than 10 minutes, to tell us who you are and a brief journey through your life to where you have landed in this nomination. Let's start with your documentation, Professor. Do you have your compliance with tax obligations with the state with a KRA certificate? I'll ask you which documents, then if you have them, you'll give it to the officer standing next to you. If they're in a bundle that you have made copies, you can give her the originals as well to compare. Then she'll give you back your originals at the end of the proceedings.
Mr. Chairman, I think What I have are my certificates, academic certificates. I think there was a communication breakdown. Just this morning is when I've been informed I also needed to come with my ID. I've sent for it, it's on the way. But I have my original academic certificates with me.
Let me just go through the list.
Yeah.
Then you'll tell us.
And the other clearances, I think we submitted them, and
let's be sequential.
We can still get the originals.
Let's be sequential.
Yeah.
You have the KRA certificate you submitted.
I submitted, but I don't have the original here. I can get it, yes.
You have the Higher Education Loans Board clearance.
Yes, submitted.
You have the clearance from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Submitted.
You have the certificate of good conduct from DCI.
Submitted.
Thank you. Have you ever been mentioned adversely mentioned in any investigative report of a parliamentary committee or commission?
No.
Are you a dual citizen between your Kenyan citizenship and any other jurisdiction outside Kenya?
No.
Excellent. What is your net worth, Professor?
My net worth is 544 million.
544 million.
Shillings, not dollars.
Kenya shillings.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, because Tanzanian shillings also could be different.
You say your national ID is on the way?
Yes, it's on the way.
You'll give it to us when it arrives. I will... my last question is, what are your current and anticipated sources of income?
At the moment, I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I practice law. I am also a business person running a number of businesses, SMEs, and I'm also a consultant for local and international organizations.
I'll open the floor by inviting you. 540. My clerk didn't hear your net worth. And she's the
My net worth, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, is 544 million Kenya shillings.
Made up of real estate, bank deposits?
Made up of landed buildings, around 165 million. It's also made up of bank deposits, about 50 million Kenya shillings, investments in shares, and deposits in 5 different circles.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Now you have your 10 minutes to address this House. We are not the Sanhedrin, we are just a committee of parliament, and we listen to you. Welcome.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable members, as I said, my name is Kithure Kindiki. I was born on 16th January 1972 in Tharaka, in the then Meru district, Eastern Province that time. It's now Tharaka Nithi County. I'm 50 years old. I went to school in Tharaka and Lenana School. I proceeded to Moi University, where I earned a Bachelor of Laws degree. From there, I proceeded to the Kenya School of Law and obtained a postgraduate diploma in law. I then went for further education at the University of Pretoria in South Africa, where I obtained a Master of Law in the year 2000, and in 2002 I obtained a PhD in international law from the same institution. I have been a lecturer of law at Moi University for around 3 years, and later on at the University of Nairobi for 10 years. I left University of Nairobi to contest in the 2013 election, and during my career I rose from a graduate assistant to a tutorial fellow, senior lecturer, associate professor. In the same period, I was able to hold administrative positions in the university as a head of department of the public law department at the University of Nairobi between 2005 and 2007. Thereafter, I became Associate Dean of the Faculty of Law at the University of Nairobi from 2007 to 2010. In between, I had a short break of 3 months when the third president of Kenya, Mwai Kibaki, appointed me Secretary for National Cohesion, but I left civil service. I was not comfortable with that position because of the political situation around which I was appointed and the agenda which I was asked to deal with. So I returned to the university and only left to join politics. I have practiced law for 22 years, and I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and I am listed in the list of counsel licensed to practice law at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. I have also served in a number of ad hoc tribunals as counsel. Mr. Chairman, between 2013 and 2017, I was the senator for Tharaka Nithi County, and at the same time, the majority leader of Senate. In 2017, I was re-elected as senator for Tharaka Nithi County, and also elected as Deputy Speaker of the Senate, a position which I held between 31st August 2017 and May 2020, when I was removed from office of the Deputy Speaker through a motion of no confidence sponsored by my party, my political party. I continued to serve as senator for Tharaka Nithi for 3 years, and in the 2022 election I did not vie for any political office, so I continued to practice law. Finally, I've been a consultant for a number of organizations, including UN agencies. I've consulted for COMESA, the East African Community, IGAD, African Union, and very many international and local NGOs and government bodies. And I have published approximately 32 publications in form of books and peer-reviewed articles. In short, that is the story of my life. The only thing perhaps I can add is that I was able also to act as a visiting lecturer in a number of universities on short-term basis. mainly at the Central European University in Budapest and the University of Sao Paulo in Brazil. That is the story of my life.
Thank you, Professor. I will now open the floor to members to ask you any questions. I'll start with the Deputy Speaker.
Professor Kindiki, congratulations on your nomination for the position of Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration. Honorable Chairman, I wish to declare my interest, which is Understanding Order 90, that I recently served under the candidate as a Deputy Chief Agent. He was my boss. But I want to confirm that it will in no way affect my judgment or involve any bias on my part in relating to him. And now I go to my question, with your permission, Honorable Chair. Professor Kindiki, as you know, the National Police Service recently reported that 13% of the police officers suffer from mental illness. I wish to ask that whether you are of the view that the recruitment methodology should be changed to a more objective one, like having psychometric tests and having mental evaluation of the candidates, as opposed to the usual, checking their dental formation, their body structure, and so on. Never mind, it's not done professionally. So whether you think that is, what will you do about that when you hold this position? Will you change that? What are your views to transform this and to avoid the future problems of police shooting themselves and their colleagues? Thank you.
Professor, take a record. We take questions in 4 batches, or rather in batches of 4. Then you answer, then we take another batches of 4. So I'll ask the majority leader.
Thank you, Speaker. And apologies, I came a little bit late. I wasn't there for the introductions. My name is Kebani Shongwa, Member of Parliament for Kikuyu. Professor Kindiki, I see from your very good CV, you have a number of publications that you have published, and notably a lot to do with publications on the protection of rights. And my question will be based on some of those publications, Professor. And you will forgive me because your predecessor also came from academia like yourself. And we've seen him exercise power with a lot of hubris and a lot of arrogance, especially towards members of parliament, even in committees like this one. I would want to know, since you also come from academia and you're not a doctor yourself, now you're a full professor, are we going to witness the same hubris and arrogance, especially in dealing with leaders and other public officers? 2, in relation to those publications, you have witnessed the changes that have been done, especially at DCI, the management of certain units at DCI which are blamed for the killing of Kenyans and what would almost tantamount to genocide. And I see you have publications on genocide. What are you going to do, if approved as CS in charge of the interior, to ensure that we shall never again in the history of our republic have to fish out bodies from River Yala or gather them from forests, from the Abadeas to Savo and elsewhere, in essence to end the gross violation of human rights of Kenyans through extrajudicial extermination, be they suspects of terrorism or whatever crimes, that you shall use your office to ensure that the rule of law prevails. 2 is on the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. There's a commitment to review the salary and welfare of police officers in all cadres. including their housing and other issues, including the issues that are being litigated in court on the question of graduate officers and reinstating their salaries to where they were before they were reduced. What steps do you intend to take to make sure that you improve the remuneration of officers across all cadres in the police force, and also to ensure that at least they live in habitable human settlements, not the kind of settlements we see our officers living in? That will be my take for now.
Yes, Opio and I.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Professor Kindiki, for starters, you as a legal scholar of no mean repute, I must admit, would perhaps be the best person to comment on this before I ask my other question. If you look at the Constitution, Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity, and again if you go to Article 10 on national values and principles of governance, would you agree with me that the Constitution sets certain ethical and moral standards on leadership that have got nothing really to do with criminal culpability? In other words, when look at ethical and moral probity and criminal culpability, the two are perhaps mutually exclusive, because there's been a tendency for people to confuse the two, that for you to be disqualified to hold a public office, you must have been charged in a court of law and perhaps convicted. Yet the Constitution, in its letter and spirit, doesn't really call for that. It's really, maybe comment on that before you answer my other question, which is on the small matter of an inquiry by the Public Accounts Committee in the year 2015. That was in the 11th Parliament, I think. Later on in the 12th Parliament, I became chair of PAC in the National Assembly for 5 years, and therefore this information came to my knowledge. Now, there was this matter that touched on your law firm, whereby some payments that were proceeds from the NYS scandal, then a scandal that cost taxpayers about 1.6 billion Kenya shillings. Some payment was said to have been made to your law firm from a company that was at the heart or at the center of this scandal, a company going by the name Out of the Box Solutions. Or later on, there's also some further payment from that same company. The initial payment was 500,000 shillings. The second payment was 15 million Kenya shillings that went through your law firm under not very clear circumstances, if I may call them so. Or perhaps now that you are set, or you intend to, if approved by the House, to occupy one of the most critical dockets, which will be in charge of the instruments of violence controlled by the state, it will be important for you to clear this matter so that you can start on a clean state. Thank you.
Robert Mbui.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This docket that the nominee has been nominated to is extremely important, considering, of course, it deals with national security. Now, I have two things I would like to confirm. First, there is an observation I want to make that in the run-up to the last general election, you were one of those that were vying to be a running mate in the Kenya Kwanza coalition. And that is in public domain. And you really fought hard. Up to the last minute when a decision was taken that was not in your favor. Now, after that, there were comments that you made publicly. And one of them was actually an implication that you are going to go on some kind of sabbatical leave. but we can see you're already actively involved now in service to the nation. Have you recovered from that shock, and are you going to be very comfortable working under your competitor, because whoever you're competing against is now the deputy president? And secondly, do you think the president has any right or should interfere with the operations of the DCI? Because you know recently that he did disband a unit that operates under them.
Professor, those are 4. You can now proceed to respond.
Thank you, Chair. On the first question from Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Shalay, I would like to respond by saying that yes, it is important for psychometric tests to be carried out on recruits. However, I do not think that the problem that we are experiencing around mental illness is connected with the type of recruits that get into the police service. I believe the issues around mental illness in the police service